Keep on rocking in the free world. Someone told me they hated my snapping. So I'm just going to keep doing it. Keep on rocking in the free world. You know, snapping is like a happy thing. It's a fun thing. And if you can snap, why not just be snappy? Snappy and happy. Because happy goes with snappy. So hello, happy Saturday. It's Saturday afternoon. I know I've not been going live on Friday nights, but actually this is working out better for moi. So hopefully it's working out better for you. And the cool thing is, even if you're not here, which is fine, I'm still going through all this stuff anyway, you can watch it later. So it's all good. Hi to everybody. I went to Walmart today. Now, here's the thing. Going to Walmart or going to any major retailer on a Saturday is not a good idea because it's always super, super, oopity duper busy. And when it's super duper, oopity duper busy, that entails bad attitudes from people. And like everybody's angry today, and I don't know why. Like, I still said, thank you for letting me go, and don't you say thank you to people? Like they stop, oh, they're coming out of the aisle and you're like, oh, and you stop your cart and you're like, oh no, you go ahead. Or they say, oh no, you go. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to pass you, whatever the heck it is. People are not being thankful today. Just not. Even the people working in Walmart. Oh my God. So one guy, the order packers, you've seen them. I think it's Spark drivers that go ahead and deliver orders from Walmart. And Walmart, you can actually order stuff online. In case you didn't know, like, listen, I'm behind the eight ball on some of these things because I don't do it. I physically go into the store. But they can do, like you order it online, they pack your order, and then they'll bring it to your car. But I remember a while ago, I had asked one of the packer people, I don't know what else to call them, a question on where something was. And he goes, I'm being timed right now, so I really can't help you, but hold on, let me think about it. And he was really nice about it. I saw him there today, but he wouldn't know who I was, so I didn't say hello. Anyway, so he did say, he was very frustrated when he helped me find the thing I was looking for, but he did it. He said, I'm going to figure out where it is. So these people are timed when they pick your orders off of the shelf. Did you know that? I had no idea. And it was like, he's going to get in big fat trouble if he doesn't do it on time. So there were a lot of people pickers today working at Walmart, and one people picker, oh my gosh, their carts are big. So you don't even see the person coming out of the aisle first. You see the big cart, and then you see the person after. And he rammed his cart right out into the main aisle there. Like he's coming from the side aisle and I'm in the main aisle. He just rams it out, almost hit me. And then he's looking, literally just staring at me like I should be apologizing to him for something. I don't know. Listen, if I did something wrong, I would apologize, but you almost hurt me with his Walmart cart. And what am I going to do? So I just stared back at him. I just gave him the stare glare and went on my merry way to get Al's Belvita cookies. And that was it. But I'm telling you, I was so annoyed. That's why I don't go to Walmart. And I've said it before, but it was just convenient for me to go. So I did look at the eggs. Now I don't buy them there. I don't buy them in the store. I'm very lucky. I have a very, very nice connection with a farm stand right near me. And like I said, her coop is amazing. I've told you guys many times. Clean, immaculate. She's awesome. Her husband's awesome. So I get my eggs from there. But a carton of eggs was like $25. I said, how is this happening? And how can people? And one woman took 2 cartons and put them in her cart. I don't know. I don't know how people are doing it, man. I just don't. I wouldn't eat an egg. I mean, eggs are really good for you, though. Or maybe just eat one egg. Let me tell you, one egg is very fulfilling. Like I had an egg this morning with an alfresco sausage. It's only 110 calories. Have you guys had alfresco sausages? not al sausages, but al fresco sausages, and I'm kind of in love with those. So I've been eating those, and they're really good. So I had that with one egg, and it was plentiful with some cheese, of course. I had to have some cheese on it. So it was really, really good. And you just don't need what. But then when you're making eggplant or something like that, you need several eggs. Or you make meatballs. Well, you don't need a lot of eggs for meatballs because then they get too soupy. So then you can't form the meatball. So you really don't need a lot of eggs for meatballs either. But we need eggs. So the egg thing is just crazy. Milk has gone up a lot too. Like milk used to be super inexpensive at Walmart. No more. Everything has really gone through the roof. And I will give you a tip. If you're in the New England area, I will tell you that a lot of Walmart prices were much higher than Market Basket. Yeah, I'm saying it. I'm not going to gatekeep that. I know my items because I buy a lot of the same stuff every week. I'm like that. I do vary and sway off of the track at some point, but Market Basket, I got to forget Stop and Shop. Stop and Shop is more expensive than everyone. Stop and Shop thinks they're a gourmet supermarket now for some reason. I don't get it. And then you walk in there and you don't even feel like it's a supermarket, not in a good way. You feel like they're selling something other than food, but I don't know what. So I just don't understand. Anyway, so Stop and Shop, forget it. They're out of the question. I will go there. The only thing and I'm not going to lie, I do go to Stop and Shop now for one thing and one thing only. And I wish I had them in front of me, but I can't eat them on camera. I call them monster grapes. They are the best grapes. I don't know. The past few months, I've been getting these, I call them monster grapes. They're humongous and I love them. And they're like steaks. They're like fruit steaks. I don't know how else to refer to these things, but they're so unusual and so good that I just keep going back to Stop and Shop for these grapes. That's it. I won't buy another thing there. Maybe a bottle of water if I'm out on the road or something. Other than that, I'm not buying anything else at Stop and Shop. So at Stop and Shop, bottom of the list for being the most expensive. I went to Walmart today, like I said, because it was just convenient for me to go there instead of Market Basket because I don't know if you know Rhode Island, you know Route 2. Route 2 is stupid on a Saturday. I just stay away. I don't go there because it's too busy and you're just really in traffic most of the time. So I just don't even go. That's why I went to Walmart. Did I want to go to Walmart? No, I didn't. I really did not. But I did. And I got a bunch of stuff there, which was fine. However, like I said, Market Basket, number one, numero uno. And I don't know if it's because it's a locally owned franchise, kind of, sort of, because there are, quite a few Market Baskets in the New England area. I don't think they're anywhere else. The DeMulo family or something owns it. And I just got to say, they got it going on. They got it going on. And even during the shutdown, all right, sometimes the stores were oddly stocked. I mean, the shelves, it looked like they were stocked, but then if you took one thing off the shelf, there was nothing behind it. So it was a weird scenario, but I think it was weird for everybody. However, Market Basket, I don't care if you guys live in New England and you have a Market Basket near you, that's the store. I am a shopper. I know my prices. I do. It's a weird thing. Like knowing the lyrics to songs, I know the prices of most food items. Why? I don't know. It's a weird thing. It just kind of sticks in my head and I know that. Market Basket's the winner, price wise. Telling you. Even like toothpaste and stuff. Guys, I'm telling you, just go to Market Basket. Just go to Market Basket. There's no reason not to. Anyway, hi. Hope you're having a good week. Hope you had a good week. We're in the weekend. I love the weekend. It's freezing here in Rhode Island. We had a nice past couple of days, even though it was cloudy-ish. We did have, here goes my nose. I go on the air and it starts dripping. Why? I can't tell you. Had a nice, it was very mild. Couple of the nights I took Louie out before going to bed and I'm like, oh my God, the other night it was actually humid outside. So that's crazy, but I'm happy. I like humid. See, I like that. A lot of people hate it. I like it. So I said, "Oh, thank goodness the warm weather's finally coming," and it's coming. It's coming. Hang on. However, Al told me they said on the news it's going to snow here on Tuesday. I'm like, Even if it snows, we had that weird snowstorm in April several years ago. What do they call it? An Arctic blast or something? We got 8 inches in a minute. It was weird. It was weird, but it melted right away. It was fluffy snow. It wasn't anything major. It really, I mean, I don't know. For us, it wasn't anyway. It could have been for somebody, but not for us. So I guess something like that could happen. However, like, listen, my hydrangeas are starting to come up. I got to get out there. I got to start trimming them back before, they get all crazy on me. And you don't want your hydrangeas getting too far away from you, because then you can't snip off the dead wood. And you want to snip off the dead wood right above where the bud's starting to form, so you can make sure you have a nice fluffy, flowery hydrangea. I can't wait. I planted a bunch last year. They should be nicer this year. Springtime, honey. I am all about it. Let's see who's here. Hi, Nancy. How are you? Hello, Suzanne from gloomy, rainy Western Pennsylvania. She said, well, I'm sorry to hear that. It's gloomy and rainy here too. I I will tell you that it's gloomy and rainy here too. And Patty Taylor, how are you? What is going on? Yeah, it's just we're almost there, guys. We're almost into spring and summer season, so that is a fabulous, fabulous thing. All right, let's go ahead and get right into all of the news that we have today, which, it's been a lot lately. We've had a lot to talk about. You know, some good, some not so good, and this is not so good at all. Val Kilmer, he passed away. Many of you know him as a very, very talented actor. He was born in LA and he passed away in LA. His huge film career kicked off in 1984 in Top Secret and in 1986. What a great year for movies that was. We fell in love with him for his role as Iceman opposite Tom Cruise in Top Gun in 1986. He was in tons and tons of films, but we will also notably remember him for his role as Jim Morrison in the 1991 film The Doors, which I have not even seen, but I will be trying to see that this weekend. In high school, he dated Mare Winningham. She was amazing in St. Elmo's Fire. If you haven't seen that, go watch it again, from the 80s. Great, great movie. And he was also the youngest person at that time to be accepted into the Juilliard School. Val dated Cher, Leslie Ann Warren, Cindy Crawford, and Daryl Hannah, and he was married to Joanne Whalley from 1988 to 1986. And his health began to change in 2014 and did not actually come out and say that he had cancer, but the Hollywood Reporter revealed in 2017 that he had been battling that illness for 2 years. Val does leave behind 2 children, Mercedes and Jack, and Val was 65 years old. So that was very sad news this week. You just every day, it's something. Yep, and lots of other he was in Batman too. And moving on to Gene Hackman news. Now, this is from express.co.uk. Gene Hackman, bombshell, as family dealt major blow after the judge's ruling. Again, I have not read this, so we're going to read it together. A New Mexico judge has ruled that some of the information in the Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa's death can be released, and a judge decreed the release of information pertaining to the deaths following developments in the ongoing probe of Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa. So Gene's estate has been fighting to keep the details hidden. They don't want them out there. But a judge has said crucial findings can be publicized, stipulating that any disturbing imagery is redacted. Now, that's one thing. There was something on TikTok, I think it was just a few days ago, it wasn't even a week ago, very disturbing. a teacher, maybe some of you had seen it because it did go viral. Horrific, horrific video. I can't get it out of my head. I watched it once because it was in my feed and I didn't know what was happening. But this poor teacher was taking a phone call in class, and someone on the other end of the line had told him his son had passed. And he was teaching a high school class, and the teacher did not, he probably looked maybe in his 40s, maybe so. His son was younger. And a student had filmed that and put it on TikTok. I just don't believe things like that should be out there. You know, like here it is. I'm just, I don't know the situation. I didn't dive into it or anything like that. I didn't watch it again. I just find it horrifically awful. And I feel so bad for that family, that teacher and his family and everyone around them. But that shouldn't have been out there. And, we really should be more conscientious of what we put online and, people that we're going to hurt and things of that nature. But that is just horrendous, horrendous. So the judge for the Gene Hackman case is saying disturbing imagery will be taken down, which should be the case, I think, with everything that's put online. Don't you? I think everything that is disturbing shouldn't be posted, period. And I do think we should have some sort of filter system. Now, I know that, I don't know, we're not going to get into all of it, but Facebook, you can post anything now. And, a while ago, I was getting fed, and I don't know why, because I love animals. I was getting fed these terrible, terrible animal videos. You can kind of read between the lines. And I'm like, how are these even being allowed? First of all, didn't even watch them. They would just pop up. And I kept hitting the option. I didn't report them. It was like, this is disturbing imagery or something like that. It was horrible, horrible. And I'm like, oh, how can this even be out there? And it's coming from a public account. You're not doing anything to these people. Anyway, so that's understandable what the judge said there. So Judge Matthew Wilson of New Mexico has allowed the partial disclosure of police body cam footage alongside further detective evidence, including pictures of the couple's deceased pet. Why? Like even that, why would you allow that to be put out there? I don't see the purpose of sharing any of that imagery with people. What do you need? Because there are going to be people who are just sick. You know what I mean? So this decision permits certain inaccessible case materials, photos, videos, and documents to be shared with the public, provided any sensitive content is appropriately concealed. But you're going to allow the deceased family pet to be shown. None of it should be shown. None of it. Nothing. And any personal, maybe phone calls or anything like that, that shouldn't be released either. That's just my own opinion. Why do we need to know that? We're going to read about things. Why do we need to hear it? I just don't get it. So the judge also instructed there shall be no depiction of either body in any video production or in any photos. And legal advocates for the Hackman family had appealed to the judiciary for continued discretion concerning the incident's particulars, citing constitutional rights to privacy. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So the family wants privacy. And the judge is like, no, we're gonna release some of it anyway. Crazy. Gene Hackman was 95 years old. His wife, Betsy, was 65. And someone from the property staff actually found them and alerted police to the fact that he knew something was not right. So they're saying that Gene passed away from heart disease worsened by Alzheimer's. And that was 1 week after Betsy passed away from a hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, which is a very rare disease transmitted by rodents. So again, getting into the situation, Gene was in the house for about 10 days, while his wife Betsy and dog had passed, and he wasn't aware. Devastating, sad, should never be the case for anybody. No one should have to go through that. Billy Joel, you got to be a big shot. This is from yahoo.com. He postpones his tour for 4 months to undergo surgery and physical therapy for a quote unquote medical condition. And he's going to be on tour with Sting and Stevie Nicks. So Billy did get on social media on March 11th. He told fans that he's postponing his upcoming tour for 4 months due to a medical condition. He has to undergo physical therapy under the supervision of his doctors to recover from a recent surgery. And the tour postponements include 8 shows throughout North America and Europe. And some of those shows are co-headlined with Sting and Stevie Nicks. I'm not sure if those shows have been rescheduled as of yet. But Billy did say on social media, while I regret postponing any shows, my health must come first. I look forward to getting back on stage and sharing the joy of live music with our amazing fans. Thank you for understanding. Let's see. And back on February 22nd, when he was at nearby Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, he fell, and that video went viral. And honestly, he had to hurt after that because it looked like a pretty hefty fall. But Mr. Professional, Billy Joel, he just got right back up and got right back into it. But I think that was the end of the show anyway. And that fall happened during It's Still Rock and Roll to Me from 1980. He's awesome. I love Billy Joel. I'm just saying. And another story, this is from parade.com. Billy Joel joins Paul McCartney in a campaign to get Joe Cocker inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So it's Billy Joel, Paul McCartney, and also Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. He's in on it as well. And they say that Joe has been eligible to be inducted into the Rock Hall since 2014. Let's see. But he has not been yet. And let me see. There's something here. There's a video of, is it Billy? I'm not sure. Let me see here. I can probably play it, maybe, if I can find it. I don't know. I don't know where it is. I don't know. Sometimes these things, you click on them and then they're not there. Publicly posted his Instagram account. Let's see if it's there. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hold on. Let me, how come I can't? Well, all right. I'm just going to share it. Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Go here. You can see it. All right. Ready? Here we go.
1999. It has been one of my fondest hopes to see Joe Cocker inducted into it as well. When I first heard him in 1969, I was very inspired by the sound of his incredibly raw and soulful vocal style. That became a watershed year in my life. That year, I attended the Woodstock Festival, bought the first Led Zeppelin album, and heard Joe Cocker sing with a little help from my friends. I thought Joe was the most powerful rock and roll interpretive male singer I had heard since first hearing the iconic early recordings of Ray Charles. In my opinion, no one has since come even close to him as one of the great primal rock and roll vocalists of all time. I feel very strongly that Joe Cocker should be considered for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I hope you will consider putting his name on the voting ballot this year. Sincerely, Billy Joel.
That's pretty awesome. And that is a letter that Billy Joel actually wrote. It says it right here on Joe Cocker Official's Instagram page. He wrote to the Rock Hall saying that Joe Cocker should be. So that's very cool. You got to say that's very, very cool. And we'll see what happens with that. I mean, Billy Joel and Paul McCartney, they're pretty influential. Billy Gibbons too. I love you, Billy. Very, very influential. So how do you think it's not going to happen? It'll probably happen. When you have big folks like that standing behind you, you can't go wrong. By the way, guys, before we go any further, go ahead, hit the like button. Also, download the free app of Kiki.fm, fantastic radio station that my amazing husband has put together and works on every single day. And also, please subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let's see. Ario Gina is here. Hello, Kathy Waddle. What's going on? And Ario Gina said, just flew back from Vegas, saw the Eagles at the Sphere. That must have been amazing. Keep hearing the most incredible things about the Sphere in Vegas, and what a place to see a show. And she also saw Rod Stewart at Caesars. Both shows fantastic. I mean, Rod Stewart too. The Eagles, great reviews. Rod Stewart, great reviews. It's just the Eagles. Those tickets are pricey, and you paid up to go to the Sphere, girl. So good for you. And being in Vegas, I mean, you can't top that. You're in Vegas seeing iconic acts. What's better? Nothing. Nothing. All right, moving on. Bobby Sherman. This is from MSN.com. His wife says that his body is shutting down after revealing his cancer diagnosis. Bobby was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer on March 25th. And his wife, Brigitte Poublan, said that her husband's body is shutting down and his kidney cancer has spread everywhere. Very, 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 very sad. She said he was doing crossword puzzles with me in the last few days. And then all of a sudden, Saturday, he turned around and he's just sleeping more and his body's not working anymore. It's not. Everything's shutting down, she told the outlet. She said his last words from the hospital last night were, Bridge, I just want to go home. To all of Bobby Sherman's cherished fans, she began the post, which featured throwback photos of Sherman. As many of you know, Bobby has been retired for some time and is no longer able to participate in cameos, sign autographs, or make appearances. Poublan's added of her husband, it is with a heavy heart that we share that Bobby has recently been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. During this challenging time, we kindly ask for your understanding and respect our privacy. Thank you so much for still remembering him. We really appreciate it. And Poublan has told Fox News there has been an outpouring of love and support. John Stamos included. He's a good friend of theirs. And she said that he's been sending Bobby video messages because he told him, I don't recommend him come into the room where Bobby's at right now. So let's see. Bobby Sherman, as some of you may know, he was a teen idol in the 60s and early 70s. After Rebel Without a Cause actor Sal Mineo helped him secure a recording contract, which got him onto the show Shindig in 1964. And then he got the role of Jeremy in Here Comes the Brides in 1968. He had a bunch of charted hits, including the single Little Woman that peaked at number 3. And Bobby did perform his last solo show in 2001. He also had a guest appearance on the show Emergency in 1974. And he went on to train as a paramedic in LA. I did not know that. He went on to work as a medical training officer at the Los Angeles Police Academy for over a decade. And then he eventually landed the title of an LAPD technical reserve police officer in the 1990s. And he retired from the sheriff's department in 2010. I did not know that. Did you guys know that? Wow. Who knew? Bobby Sherman. But again, you just have to wonder why, what made him leave the music business and do something completely different. Really just out of the sphere of music. Did something just tell him, listen, I don't think I'm relevant anymore, and I just don't want to keep going with the music I've created. I just don't want to do that. I want to try something else in my life. You just have to really, that makes you go, really? Wow. Interesting. Ariogena said, I still remember the poster of Bobby my oldest sister had hanging on her bedroom wall. And Patty said, I loved Bobby Sherman as a kid. Yeah. I mean, he was adorbs for sure. Well, he's still with us. But it sounds like he's not doing well at all. So all the best to Bobby and his family. So Daryl Hall. I know. This is from radaronline.com. And Daryl said that Hall & Oates, their rift that they went through, has absolutely no chance of healing after the $60 million music publishing war broke out. And the article starts off, and it's true. Money has shattered the 60-year friendship and partnership of legendary music duo Hall & Oates. Like, how sad. Still, I read about Hall & Oates, and I'm like, gosh, what? They seemed like the best of buds, and I believe that they were the best of buds. I do, because they lived together. They, churned out some of the biggest hits of our lives. But Daryl Hall has said, you know what? I've closed the door on any hope or chance of reconciling with John after everything went kapooey in 2023. And it's 2025 now, so it's been a couple of years. Daryl said that ship has gone to the bottom of the ocean. Their huge hits, Kiss on My List, Maneater, Private Eyes, just all came to a big fat end when Daryl actually slapped John with a lawsuit. Because John initiated trying to sell his shares of Hall & Oates, and Daryl was pissed. So Daryl stopped him by filing a lawsuit. And Daryl actually accused John of attempting to sell his half of the publishing rights for what they've done for their catalog for $60 million without Daryl's consent. And I would think, geez, he's got to get way more than that. Way more than $60 million for his half. Come on. You telling me Hall & Oates is only worth $120 million? No. Come on. Daryl, who is now 78, said that he has written 90% of their hits and said that John caused the ultimate betrayal. John still loves Daryl. This is from someone, a music insider, but Daryl is still mad, feeling that John tried to pull the rug out from under him. Now, to me, in this whole thing, And again, just reading here, what's here in front of me. If Daryl didn't like the fact that John was trying to sell his portion of his rights, I don't see why he would get so mad about it. I just don't understand, because if Daryl and John weren't speaking or connecting, I get it. This is a business deal, big business deal. Maybe John tried to reach out to Daryl. We don't know. Maybe Daryl ignored John's requests for chatting. And John just went ahead and said, listen, I'm not going to wait here my whole life trying to wait for approval to sell my portion of my music rights. Maybe he did try to get in touch with Daryl. We just don't know, and we may not know. Maybe we will. Maybe John will come out and say, listen, I tried to get in touch with Daryl. He just never responded to me. I mean, Daryl seems like he's been pissed off at John for a really long time, way before this 2023 thing happened with John initiating this. I think Daryl's been angry for quite some time. So, you know, if John had attempted to talk to him about it and Daryl just didn't respond, what are you going to do? Like, you want to get out of it. You have a chance to sell your shares. Well, you should be able, they're yours, right? But I guess their agreement does not say that, allegedly. So the insider went on to say, if a promoter comes along with tens of millions for a reunion tour, you'd be surprised how that bad blood would turn green with signs. And that's really, sad too, because we'll get back on stage if we get the right amount of money. I think at that point, like, they're so rich now, like so rich. You're a rich girl, you've gone too far, but it don't matter anyway. I mean, they're so rich that, okay, they get offered tons and tons and tons of money to do that said reunion tour. Let's be happy on stage, but we won't talk to each other backstage or on the road. We'll travel separately. I don't know, man. There's got to be some sense of dignity where is it worth that? Is it worth it to be miserable and uncomfortable next to the person that makes you so angry? To me, there's not enough money. Yeah, hundreds of millions would be great. I don't know. All right, why am I talking about the Real Housewives? But it just popped in my head. I just have to say it. Just like the Real Housewives franchises, like, they're just getting so blatantly boring now. And even if it is faked, I feel like some of it has to turn real when they're jabbing and so mean to each other, that the amount of money they're getting for the stress that they have to take on to do these shows is so not worth it. It's just not. Lisa Rinna from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she has a podcast with her husband, Harry Hamlin, now. Watch it. It's great, by the way, on YouTube. And she's coming out. She's like, I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I mean, it's just, I just can't. I don't know. Hall & Oates, they're done. However, like, this person says, hey, if the right amount of money comes along, they'll probably do a tour. But I don't know, man. You got to be at that point to say, is it worth it to be with someone I despise and be happy? Because people can feel that. They can feel it. They really can. They really, really can. Johnny Mathis. Remember Johnny Mathis? Well, Johnny Mathis is not going to tour anymore due to age and memory issues. This is from NJ.com. Did you know that Johnny Mathis is 89 years old? I didn't even know he was still touring. And that is not in a mean way. But I didn't know Johnny Mathis was still out there. Did you? Help me. I didn't know. But soon, Johnny Mathis will not be able to tour anymore. He's won 5 Grammy Awards. And his Facebook page said that he will be retiring from performing due to age and memory issues that have accelerated, which is so sad. I mean, Alzheimer's, dementia, get a cure. Get a cure. And the post read, as many of you already may be aware, Johnny Mathis is approaching his 90th birthday this year. God bless him. The statement continued. So it's with sincere regret that due to Mr. Mathis's age and memory issues which have accelerated, we are announcing his retirement from touring and live concerts. And Johnny only has 4 shows remaining in 2025 for his Voice of Romance tour. And those stops include Pennsylvania, Indiana, and California. His final performance is scheduled for May 18th in Englewood. Any show past that date has been canceled. And his team and him are grateful for Mathis fans worldwide for your continued love and support of his music. It's truly been wonderful, wonderful. So Johnny Mathis will be playing his final show May 18th at the Bergen Performing Arts Center in Englewood. And that's really just sad on my part. I saw the headline. I'm like, I didn't even know Johnny Mathis was still out there, right? I mean, I didn't know. Like Frankie Valli, who knew? But we all know because of TikTok. So Kathy says, I didn't know Bob Dylan was still out there. He will be with Willie Nelson at the Outlaw Music Festival. I kind of did know Bob was out there. You know what? I don't know. Like I've seen things for Bob Dylan, and I feel like Bob Dylan and Willie Nelson will always be out there, even when they're not here. They're always going to be on tour. It's just like they're staples, right? And a complete unknown. If you guys saw the Bob Dylan movie, let me know how you liked it. I know a few of you really, really liked it. I thought it was okay. I wouldn't see it again. I thought it was okay. It was a good movie. I watched it. I finally got through it. I didn't fall asleep this time. And I enjoyed it. It was cool, learning about his life and his romance and seeing, I think it was really filmed in Newport, Rhode Island, though. I think so. So that was kind of cool. I enjoyed that part. The Newport Folk Festival was it 1969, I think. Fans were mad when he went electric. And the scene in the movie from him doing that, you could tell Bob Dylan is just he's got his way, right? I was going to say he's angry. He seems like he's kind of angry, right? He just seemed like an angry fella. He just, that's how they portrayed it. I'm just telling you what I saw and what I felt. And his relationship with Joan Baez was kind of crazy. Like no idea, but he was kind of like the cat's meow at the time. Yeah. So, and then moving on, Cheap Trick, Night Ranger. And Night Ranger was in Connecticut either tonight. They're either there tonight or last night or something. So Cheap Trick, Night Ranger, and Winger announce Farewell Japan tour. So let's see what this is about. This is from Ultimate Classic Rock. So I'm not sure if they're all retiring. I don't think so. I can't imagine Night Ranger would be retiring because those guys are like, they're just Energizer bunnies to the nth degree. So this article from Ultimate Classic Rock, Cheap Trick, Night Ranger, and Winger are all planning to say goodbye to Japan in 2025, 1985. Like, do you see this is where my head is at? 1985. I'm still there. I am still there. So all 3 bands, they announced farewell tours for the Far East Island country, which has been important to all of them in their careers. Winger, they're nearly done with their last Japanese dates. They're going to be at Tokyo's X Theater Roppongi Monday, March 31st. They already did that. And Tuesday, April 1st. So today is April 5th. And then they're, gone for good from Japan. Kip Winger says the group is winding down their touring career to allow them to focus on songwriting. Isn't that where the The money's in songwriting, right? So if you write a song and someone sings it, someone famous, ka-chingo, because your song could end up anywhere. Like Kelly Clarkson's doing this karaoke thing now. She's blowing up everybody's music. They're all like kissing her feet. I think she, oh my gosh. Did she do Josie's on a Vacation Far Away? I don't think she did that one. I just want to use your love tonight. She did something from the outfield. I forget which song, which of the songs she did, and it just made them go nuts. It made the outfield's music explode. So you just never know. But this is how many years later now. You got to wait. Well, I'll be gone by then. But write them now. If you like your kids, write them. Hope they do good, and then your kids will be all set if you like your kids. So let's see. Who said this? Oh, Kip said, I'm ending my touring days. He said that to the Rock Pit in March of this year. I say this often to many people, interruption is the death of creativity. When you spend 6 months a year in an airport getting nothing done, if you've got 40 gigs, you've also got 80 travel days. I'm just so replete with musical ideas. I want to spend those days composing. Good for you, Kip. Kip Winger. I like that name, Kip. Kip is hip. I don't know Kip. I don't, but I'm sure he's hip. He's got 2 hips. We all have 2 hips. I have my own hips. I haven't had to have any replaced yet. So that's a positive on this Saturday. Listen, people get their hips replaced, they do good. So Night Ranger, they're saying goodbye to Japan as well, but they don't appear to be retiring. What did I say? Like, I don't think those guys are gonna retire. Like, they just, oh my God, they're so good. I gotta get to a full Night Ranger show. I do, because oh my gosh, they're so good. They're so fun, sweaty. Like, you got to be in front for a Night Ranger show so you can get hit with the sweat. Oh my gosh, it's the best. Anyway, so let's see. None of their upcoming North American tour dates has included any mention of it being their last shows. Because like I said, I don't think they're retiring. But the band has shared social media posts from Japanese promoter Udo Artists announcing the Goodbye Tour, which Night Ranger will be performing October 14th at Osaka's Grand Cube and October 16th at Tokyo's Nippon Budokan. In 2019, Brad Gillis, guitarist for Night Ranger, described Japan as a beautiful country with excellent people, food, culture, and landscape. And the fans have embraced us, and all shows have been sold out. We've noticed the fans still love classic rock. We've played over 50 shows in Japan and can't wait to head back over soon. I mean, Japan sounds like a beautiful place, right? I've never been. I haven't been many places, but Japan seems like a gorgeous, gorgeous place to visit. So Cheap Trick's Japan farewell dates have not yet been announced. But a flyer from Udo Artists has said that, yeah, they're coming this year and they're going to say goodbye to you. Goodbye to you. So the country, Japan, has played a massive role in helping Cheap Trick break through to a worldwide audience after Japanese journalists praised their appearance as Queen's opening act in 1977. Shut the front door. That is freaking awesome. Like, if you got to go to those early concerts, man, you're lucky. You're the lucky one. I could only wish I saw Freddie Mercury and Prince in concert, for reals. And it's not really saying much about Cheap Trick retiring from touring Japan. So that's all I got from that. That's it. That's all I got. So those three bands are not going back to Japan. That rhymes just in time. Kathy says, I've seen Night Ranger twice. Patty says, I've enjoyed seeing Night Ranger twice. They are fun. They are fun. And Kathy said, the Night Ranger will be playing 3 miles from her in June. Then you should totally go. I mean, you should totally go see Night Ranger. They're pretty phenom. I like them. And this is from people.com. Gene Simmons, this guy just makes me laugh. Gene Simmons says, it's better. Oh, come on. Because then you got to stop blocking me. It's better to be a miserable F after defending. Wait, what does he say? No, see? Wait a minute. Oh, come on. I can't. I need to see the full thing. I can't. All right, allow. Can I see the full title? Well, whatever. He's claiming it's better to be rich than a miserable F. That's what he's saying. And this all came about after charging $12,000 to be his roadie. Yeah, we talked about this a bunch of times. So he said it comes from when he was a kid attending concerts and how curious he was about how they all worked. And let's see, he has an upcoming, I think this is an upcoming podcast episode with Ultimate Classic Rock. And he talked about how he would much rather be wealthy. Of course, we'd all much rather be wealthy. Not for a big fat price though. Like I was just talking a little while ago. Like if I had to be with someone that I completely couldn't stand, but I was getting paid to be with them because I can't stand them, but people want to see us together because they know we can't stand. I don't know if I could do it. I really don't. I don't. Even if it was a big fat paycheck, I don't know if I could do it. But anyway. So let's see. These comments came out, like I said, because he was charging $12,000 for someone to be a personal assistant for him on his upcoming tour, which he canceled a bunch of dates for anyway, because Kiss is going to be doing some big gig. And Gene said, I developed a harder skin and for myself realized that everything was about the search for power and money, which is not a very romantic notion, but I didn't want to be poor because I know what it felt like because his mom was a single mom and she worked really hard to support him and her. And he said his mother worked 6 days a week in a sweat factory. And he went on to say, all I ever did was try to figure out how to become powerful and make lots of money for survival. The only thing money ever does really is give you the freedom to do stuff you actually like doing. That is true. Very, very true. Not that I know, but it's true. I mean, if you're wealthy, you can do whatever you want, right? And if it makes you happy. I thought about this the other day, though. I'm like, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. Now, why I went down this rabbit hole with myself, I don't know why I did it. Okay, so I lose the 20 pounds. And then I said to myself, okay, so I lose the 20 pounds. What happens then? What's my next step? What's my next goal? What do I want to do then? Have a lot of money? Well, how's that going to happen? I don't know, but it's a great goal. But you know, it's tough right now. Eggs are $25. How do you get the money? But anyway, lots of ways to get money. But there's a guy called Uncle Sam who's right there to take it all away from you, so you can make it. But then he's going to take it. So what would be the next goal after you achieve something? And then what's the next something after that you can achieve that would make you happy? I don't know what that is. Like for me, I have no idea what it would be, but I got to lose the 20 pounds. So let's go there. I'm going to do that. And then I'll try to figure out what I want my next thing to be to make me happy. Cause I don't know what that thing is, but I did think about it. I'm like, what's next? See, that's my problem. I always think further ahead when I shouldn't. I shouldn't do that. I should worry about today. But I don't do that. I'm a worry wart. I always worry about 30 years down the road, and Al and I sitting in recliners looking at each other, going, what are we going to do now? Are we going to watch the Golden Girls again? I don't, what is next after that? That's all of us. Well, isn't that a happy way to end this afternoon? We're not ending yet. Anyway, I'm just so happy. So let's go ahead. So Gene also said fame was nice being part of KISS, but there are a lot of famous people who are relatively poor. That's not a lot of fun. True. Lots of famous people don't have a lot of money. So weird. And then he said there's a lot of industrial types whose names you don't recognize, but they're filthy rich. It's better to be rich than poor. It really is. And if you're a miserable F, it's still better to be a rich, miserable F. That's all I ever tried to do. What was that, Gene? Be a miserable F or just be rich? I don't know. So let us know if you signed up to be Gene's roadie for $12,495. I would love to know. Would love to know who signed up for these things and who are the people paying for these tickets. So for that $12,495, you ride with him to the gig. You set up amplifiers and drums to your heart's content. You're on stage, right off stage to my right. You can video the crowds, whatever. And I pull you on stage to sing a song with me. I mean, that's very cool to be part of a whole song. Like, that's neat. That's really neat. Is it worth almost 13 grand? I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of cashola. So I don't know. Richie Sambora, did you know that little cutie man? This is from people.com. He's been in a wonderful relationship for over 2 years. And he said it invigorates you when you're in a wonderful relationship. Absolutely. Now, remember, he was dating Orianthi. And he dated her for a while. I'm not sure how long, but he did. And I'm like, are they together? Are they not together? Because you still see pictures with them. And I guess they still work together, but they're not together. Richie, who is 65, was on Billy Corgan's podcast called The Magnificent Others and said that he's been in a wonderful relationship with an unnamed woman for over 2 years. Tell us who she is. Just tell it. Do we know her? I mean, I don't even know how is it possible for him to keep that secret? Because they got to go out unless he keeps her in his house. You stay right there. Don't go to the window. Get in the basement. Like, how does that work? How do he's got to go to events, right? He goes to social things. I don't know. But Richie said to fall in love at 63 with the wisdom, and she's also smart. And she's also healthy and beautiful in 60. Wow, she's close to his age. Now that's good. That's different. It's a different way, Richie said on the podcast, which aired on April 2nd. And he also said, it invigorates you very much. It's a different way to fall in love. I don't know what that means. What do you mean a different way? What kind of way did you fall in love? Were you upside down? Did you write a letter and you didn't meet until after you exchanged letters? Was it old school? Did you meet on Grindr? Tinder? I don't even know. How is it a different way? I don't know. Maybe it says here. I have no idea. People say, well, I wish I knew that back then when I was in high school. Well, guess what? I do know that, he said. I still don't know what the heck he's talking about. I still don't know what he's talking about. He was married to Heather Locklear from 1994 to 2007. They have a daughter, Ava. She's 27. She's absolutely gorgeous, by the way. And he dated Orianthi from 2014 to 2018. And they did release an album together. And Richie says he prides himself on being a very good dad. When you love somebody, you love them all the way. And when he left Bon Jovi in 2013, it was to raise his daughter. That's amazing. And he said Ava was the turning point. I mean, Bon Jovi at that point, 2013, they had their high ride. They had oodles of success at that point. So, for him to step away from that large career, which had already basically waned, not in a bad way at that point. I mean, Bon Jovi's going to live on forever, but we're not talking Bon Jovi of the 80s. It was Bon Jovi of 2013. 2013 Bon Jovi. Still very, very famous and very, very well known. But it was okay for him to leave. Was it okay for him to leave the way he did? I don't know. That's really, he seems fine with it. I don't know if John was so good with it, but and Richie also said, I have such gratitude. I have a very lucky life, because I made it out of rock and roll alive and intact. Hallelujah for that. Hallelujah for that. And he ended with, I'm a sincere musician and sincere artist, and I will try my hardest till I'm DEAD. Good for you, Richie. And he's still really cute, too. He's aging quite well. Don't you think? I think so. I think Richie looks damn mighty fine right now for him. So Patty said, I just read this article about Richie yesterday. She's 60. I'm impressed she's not 30. This is what I'm saying. I mean, Orianthi is what, half his age? I mean, good for you, but I don't know. I still don't get all those things. And they most of the time never last. Let's be honest. Let's be real. They really don't. Oh my gosh, I watched a whole thing about, dude, what's her name? Oh, now I gotta look it up. The girl who married the actor, he was 56, she was like 16, but her mother let her do it. I can't. Hold on. Because she was enamored. She was actually ended up flirting with her daughter's then husband. Actress, wait a minute, who married actor at 16. It's going to come right up. Courtney Stodden. There you go. So there is a documentary, and she married Doug Hutchinson at the age of 16. And how old was he? He was in his 50s. Come on. Oh, he was 50. He was 50. She was 16. That's gross. I don't care. It's gross. You don't do that. I guess they had been pen pals or something, or he was doing an acting class online, something like that. And then, it turned romantic, whatever. And he's like, I got to meet her. He went out to meet her. And allegedly the mom was enamored by him and said, oh, go ahead, take my daughter. And I don't know if she had a dad too, allegedly times 25. Because I watched this documentary, I think it was on Netflix or Hulu, one of those. And Courtney said that her mom even, I think, hit on him. And Courtney did this whole, interview and documentary about how she was taken advantage of. But I mean, at 16, you don't know much of anything. Let's be honest. I mean, I didn't. I'm going to speak for myself. When I was 16, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know nothing. I'm still learning every day as an almost 60-year-old person. I'm still learning, and I will be learning until I'm not here anymore. But at 16, marrying, I think he was older than her at the time. That's just, oh God, I can't. I just can't. So that documentary was really disturbing. However, Courtney's fine now, she says, and she's married. So she's doing all right. But how can you be fine from that? If you were terribly taken of, and he all right. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all that, but no bueno at all. Patty says it's wrong on every level. Yeah, there's no good there at all. I'm sorry. You cannot say as a 50-year-old man, "Oh, I know this is going to last forever with this 16-year-old." And look, it didn't. It never does. It never does. I mean, if you know examples that it's lasted. All right, wait a minute. So when he's 80, she's 46. I mean, I don't know. She could be his caretaker. She could be his nurse then. You know what I mean? Help him out, But if they last that long, I don't know. I just think that we at our age now, all right, let me just go back. I'm sorry. I don't want to generalize. I'm still evolving at my age. I'm not the same as I was when I was 16. Thank God. I was a wreck. But I'm not the same as when I was 40. I'm not the same as when I was 50. It's constantly change. So to think that, at 50, you're going to marry a 16-year-old and maybe mold her into what you want her to be. Well, he tried to, but he did it in a very bad way. It was very bad. It was very bad what he did. And he's totally canceled, blackballed, whatever. Guy's not going to work again in that industry. Maybe allegedly. Who knows? Maybe he will, but I doubt it. I haven't seen a thing about him. Let's see. Where is Doug Hutchinson today? Let's look it up. Where? Oh, Doug Hutchinson. 2025. Let's see where he is today. Let's see what he's doing. What is he doing now? Okay, so he's still known for his role in the Green Mile, which was when? Like decades ago. It's known that Doug Hutchison is still an actor and has been active in the entertainment industry. Which entertainment industry? Which genre? We don't know. And he's still just known for his role in the Green Mile. That's it. So we literally don't know what he's doing because he's probably not doing much of anything. All right. Going on to the whole Kevin Cronin, Bruce Hall thing, which is still going on and on and on. It just never seems to stop. Like, I just don't get it. Bruce is still chatting. Kevin's still chatting. To me, and again, just stepping outside, I'm putting myself in the mom box right now, but stepping outside, not even reading these articles yet, and just saying, listen, clearly there's just so much tension and friction, but you guys still want to, I think they still want to have a connection. I do. And I think maybe now, because it's gotten so public, they just don't know how to get there. They can't get there because there's so many opinions now and division. Oh my gosh, you're either Team Bruce or Team Kevin. Plain and simple. There's no in the middle, even though I'm kind of trying to stay in the middle. I'm kind of trying to stay undivided. But it's hard for fans are pretty much, you're on one side of the fence or the other. That's it. There's no in between, no gray line. So this is from Billboard.com. And Kevin Cronin responds to REO Speedwagon reunion exclusion, deeply disturbed and hurt. I am being asked to participate in an event on a date when I can't possibly be there in person, Kevin said, and then being falsely accused of turning down the invitation. And this article came out on March 30th. And let's see. So, Kevin went on social media to share his disdain about not being included in this reunion. We all know about it. It's been out there. It's a fundraiser. And Kevin actually answered a fan on Facebook who, asked about why he's not going to be at the concert on June 14th in Champaign, Illinois. And let's see. I guess Kevin said the organizers of the event could have and maybe should have picked a date when, all of the band members could attend. Kevin went on to say, and I quote, instead they chose June 14th, 2025, a date where it was public knowledge that I was previously committed to perform with Styx and Kevin Cronin Band in Bend, Oregon. Bottom line, I'm being asked to participate in an event on a date when I can't possibly be there in person, and then being falsely accused of turning down the invitation. I am deeply disturbed and hurt by all of this. All of it. Well, no, the all of it, second all of it I put in there. And he went on to say, after all I have done to help build the legacy of REO Speedwagon, I feel I have earned and deserve to be included in any event honoring that legacy. Instead, I have been knowingly excluded, end quote. Kevin jumped into REO Speedwagon in 1972, taking over for Terry Luttrell, who left due to personal issues with guitarist Gary Richrath. And Kevin was briefly replaced by Mike Murphy, and then he came back in 1976, and he remained with REO until their end on January 1st of this year, or December 31st of last year, however you want to look at it. So we all know that they announced late last year, they said they were not going to tour anymore as of January 21st of 2025. And, Bruce Hall had back surgery and he wasn't able to tour for some time so he could recuperate. And then his inability to tour led to irreconcilable differences between Bruce and Kevin. The band played their last live performance together on December 21st at the Venetian in Las Vegas. But in March, it was announced that they would be playing a one-off show at the State Farm Center in their hometown of Champaign, Illinois on June 14th. And it's called Honoring the Legacy of REO Speedwagon. And the show is described as a concert retrospective featuring special guests and former members. So Bruce, Neil Doughty from the final REO Speedwagon lineup, they're confirmed to attend, as well as previous vocalists Luttrell and Murphy, founding drummer Alan Gratzer, and 1969 guitarist Steve Scorfina are also listed as appearing, while a special tribute will be held to late members Gary and Greg Philbin. So Cronin also said in the response that the remaining members of the band's final lineup, who currently perform alongside him in the Kevin Cronin Band, weren't given the option of appearing at the forthcoming show. And he said 35-year REO veterans Dave Amato and Brian Hitt were not even shown the respect of being invited to the Champaign event, and probably because they're Team Kevin. They're playing with Kevin. So, it's obvious they wouldn't be asked. Let's face it. There's, so much damage there. So much. So Kevin did speak to Billboard before REO's final show in December. And he said, it's kind of like a divorce of sorts. And during a divorce, things get a little muddy and things get a little sticky. I wish it could have been more amicable, but the minute attorneys get involved, it just changes the atmosphere of things, no doubt. And you're probably told not to say anything, but they've both been saying stuff. Both of them. Both Bruce and Kevin are just out there talking, when maybe they shouldn't be. Maybe, it's kind of, going back to Journey. Like maybe it's time to just tone it down a little bit. And Kevin also said, I think it's unfortunate that some fans were kind of brought into something that I really feel should have been kept as private personal matter. It's never thrilling when things are said that are inaccurate and hurtful. My hope is that there will come a time where the dust will settle And my intention is to ask forgiveness for anything that I've done or any hurt that I've caused Bruce. I don't like to have grudges with people. I like to forgive and to be forgiven. Now, that's nice. You know, hey, we're supposed to forgive and we're supposed to, you can't forget though, you know, you're not going to be able to forget, but you can forgive. And then Bruce Hall, now we have to give Bruce's side. This came out on April 2nd. This is from AmericanSongwriter.com. The title reads, Bruce Hall sets the record straight over Kevin Cronin's disdain for REO reunion concert. So here we go. So let's see what Bruce had to say. Let's see. Let's read down here. So since Kevin criticized the idea of not inviting his band members to be part of it, Bruce Hall then fired back. Let's see. It says here that Kevin lashed out at the band, insisting they schedule the performance knowing he couldn't make it. Well, I don't know if I read it as lashing. Maybe there's another article where he did, but the one that I just read to you guys, I didn't take that as a lashing. I took that as, well, how about maybe asking me first if I'm available, even though everybody can see the tour dates online. It's not a secret, right? Maybe reaching out and saying, hey, is there any way you guys can come the next day or another weekend or a weeknight or something? So clearly, it seems like, allegedly, help me, Jesus, that, maybe there wasn't a lot of, trying. I don't know I don't know what other word to put. Let's see. So Bruce is saying he's going to set the record straight. And this was on his Facebook page. And this was in response to Kevin's, feeling hurt that he wasn't asked to participate or his band members. So here we go. Bruce said, happy to set the record straight. We were all, including Kevin, invited to participate in this event in early January. Kevin states he's been falsely accused of turning down the invitation. I've seen nowhere it's been said he turned it down, and I know he's been asked to participate virtually. I truly hope he does. This event was created to provide the Founding Fathers, original singers, and classic REO lineup a chance to reunite and say a proper goodbye. Hold on, I have to expand it. Oh, and it won't let me. Oh, dude. Hold on. It won't let me read the rest of it. Let me see if I can. Hold on. Let me see if I can go to Bruce's Facebook here. Hold on. Oh, for crying out loud. Now, see, but that sparks me because. Oh, and then posts. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so virtually. So Kevin was asked to if he could even participate virtually. This event was all right, I just said this, but we'll say it again. This event was created to provide the Founding Fathers, original singers, and classic REO lineup a chance to reunite and say a proper goodbye, a chance to honor Gary Richrath and Greg Philbin's memory. Most importantly, proceeds are going to the REO Speedwagon Fund for Rare GU Cancer Research at Moffitt Cancer Center, the hospital that saved my son's life. How can anyone be deeply disturbed and hurt by this is beyond me. Neil Allen and I are not being paid. We are thrilled to have this amazing chance to rock together one last time and raise money and awareness for such a wonderful cause. Okay, that's the end of the post. Now, as I see it, that is a wonderful cause. Absolutely, of course. And I had no idea his son went through that. So blessings to them. And it sounds like he's okay. So that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So, but besides that, if it is the one last time that they are all going to perform together and Kevin cannot be a part of that particular date of June 14th, then make it not one last time. do it again. Make another one last time so that Kevin can be a part of it. If it's for, like this post said, and I'm quoting Bruce Hall here, this event was created to provide the founding fathers, original singers, and classic REO lineup a chance to reunite and say a proper goodbye. I'm sorry, Kevin Cronin is part of the classic REO lineup. He is. And if this is their way of saying goodbye and also raising money for a fantastic cause, that's amazing. But then this should not be their final goodbye. That's all I'm saying. Then you got to do it again. You got to do it again. You got to involve Kevin because that's not right. It's just not right. You're saying right there, the classic REO lineup. Well, he is the classic REO lineup. He's the major part of it. He's been the lead singer for how many decades? And I'm not discrediting anyone else, but then do it again. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about that because I just don't understand. But wait a minute. Now I have one more. Sorry. I do have one more. This is from penlive.com. I have no idea what anybody's saying, if they're saying anything right now. But penlive.com, title is Legendary Rocker Fires Back After Ex-Frontman Rips Iconic Band's Reunion. And that this is all about Bruce Hall responding. Okay. So we're not going to go over that again. So there isn't anything else. But that's all I'm going to say about that. We'll see what comes next because clearly there's going to be another statement or whatever. But let's see. All right. Patty Taylor said, I'm trying to be neutral on REO, but I don't think the reunion will be the same without Kevin. He's truly the voice of REO, just my opinion. This is what I'm saying. It's not a reunion. It's a reunion, but it's just not without Kevin. It just can't be. It can't. It just can't. I'm sorry. I think of REO Speedwagon and I see Kevin Cronin singing all of the hit songs in my head. That's just, I'm just going to keep on loving you. All of you. All of you, I'm just going to keep on loving you. And, Patti LaBelle, can we just say this here? This is from CNN.com. Imagine CNN, doing a news story on this. Patti LaBelle says Elton John never returned her Tupperware. Not sure if you guys knew about that, but geez, I mean, maybe Elton should bring back her dish with something in it. So Patti said she sells her own line of patty pies. And Patty Taylor, you may want to think about doing that yourself. There's so many things people do now. I saw this woman on TikTok this morning. She sells mini pancakes with fruit and all kinds of toppings outside the front of her house. How cool is that? She does really good. So yeah, Patti LaBelle, and she went viral a few years ago for some Thanksgiving pie she had. It went crazy. It was sold at Walmart. It was nuts. But anyway, so Patti LaBelle said that before Elton John was famous and he was going by his birth name, Reginald Dwight, he was playing piano for her with his band Bluesology when she was performing in the United Kingdom. So they hung out backstage and, they were friendly with each other. They had some fun. And she said, so we played cards a lot. I took all their pounds, all their money. I had to feed them then because they didn't have any pounds, no money to eat, right? This is what Patty said. And she said she would often have them over to her flat in the UK with her bandmates, Nona Hendricks, Sarah Dash, and Cindy Birdsong. She said she'd cook for everybody and she'd send home leftovers in her Tupperware. Patty said, my Tupperware is very important to me. I don't give it out, and my shopping bags. So I gave them some food to take back home, and they never paid me back. She said she's brought up the lack of Tupperware return to Elton John on a few occasions, telling him, I want my darn Tupperware. So what he should do now, he should totally give her a really nice Tupperware set with something really, really yummy inside. That's funny. She seems so cool. I got to meet her once so long ago. And of course, those pictures are on a little instant camera somewhere that I probably don't have anymore. Isn't that sad? Really sad. But anyway, so on this day in 1981, here were the top 10 songs from Billboard. And let's see, at number 10, we got What Kind of Fool from Barbara Streisand and Barry Gibb. Oh my gosh, what a great song. While You See a Chance by Steve Winwood was at number 9. And at number 8, Keep On Loving You by REO Speedwagon. Who knew? I did not look at this beforehand. That is so freaking weird. That is so weird. And that had actually gone down a notch from the previous week. Oh my gosh. Number 7, Just the Two of Us, Grover Washington Jr. with Bill Withers. Number 6, Hello Again by Neil Diamond. Crying at number 5 by John McClane. And again, we just talked about these guys today too. At number 4, Kiss on My List by Daryl Hall and John Oates. At number 3, The Best of Times by Styx. And all of these bands and guys did have the best of times. And, you know, maybe at some point they can maybe think about those great times, get it together for a little bit. And, you know, before we all leave this earth, just try to be good to each other, you know. At number 2, Woman by John Lennon. And the number 1 song on this day in 1981, according to the Billboard Hot 100, was Rapture by Blondie, right? Like the rock rap song that we all just needed to have in our lives at this time in 1981. So you guys are the best. Please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Patty and Kathy and Nancy and everybody, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it very, very much. I love you guys. You are the absolute best. I love you, love you, love you. And I will see you soon. Bye, guys. I love you.